Welcome back to Get Up DC. Time right now, 5:16. They were among the country's first black Marines, yet few people know their story and the history behind it. Montford Point Marines were the first African Americans to serve in the U.S. Marine Corps. This was during a time of segregation. Makia Turner caught up with two of the Marines in Prince George's County. Joining us now live, Makia, they even received a Congressional Gold Medal a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think the story's incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's such an honor to do it. And you know what? There are so many more other Montford Point Marines out there who are supposed to have a Congressional Gold Medal, and they have no idea that they are. So this story affects thousands of people. And I was honored to sit down with two retired Marines who are proud to be part of a legacy that lives on.
This photo right here, I was in.
When retired Staff Sergeants Ivor Griffin and Eugene Groves joined the United States Marine Corps in the mid-1940s, they were among the first African Americans to do so. And it was a dream come true.
You always knew you wanted to be a Marine, right?
You know, I saw those pictures of Marines back when I was a kid.
Even holding these heavy Congressional Gold Medals after decades of service, it still feels surreal.
Made me feel proud that I am a Marine.
This was a dream that came with sacrifice and a will to fight racial divides here at home.
Up north in Philadelphia, where I came from, it had a little bit of it, but not as bad as the South that I went to.
When Sergeant Griffin packed his bags and left home at the age of 17 from Montford Point Camp in North Carolina, it was the start of a new chapter in American history. Just 3 years before, President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed an executive order that prohibited racial and employment discrimination in the services. It opened the door for African Americans to join the Marines. Basic training was at Montford Point, a segregated boot camp on the grounds of Camp Lejeune, but the conditions were anything but ideal.
As soon as we arrived at the gate and came in and started calling us names and all that, you know, and talking about our family, you know, and stuff like that. I think just at that time, you know, people talk about your mama and your daddy, you want to fight, you know.
It was a lot different, you know. Some of the barracks wasn't built. Some of us built some of the barracks down there.
Really?
Yeah.
20,000 Marines trained at Montford Point Camp before it closed in 1949. The U.S. military had been desegregated, the other part of the dream Sergeant Groves and Griffin had hoped for.
We made a difference, and for those that came along behind us.
Yeah, they sure did. In 2011, President Obama signed a law to award all Montford Point Marines with Congressional Gold Medals for their sacrifice and service during World War II. So, if you or someone you love once served as a Marine, and it was between the years of 1942 and 1949, you are due for recognition. So you just need to locate those DD-214 discharge documents and contact DC's Montford Point Marine chapter or the National Association. Dio? This story was just so fascinating to me. This was a part of Black history that I never knew.
And it feels like there's so much more to it as well that you just couldn't put in that 2-minute piece.
Yeah, it's all just in 2 minutes. But the more important thing is that people recognize that it is time to get the recognition that they deserve, no matter how many more decades or years after their service. So.
Exactly. All right, Makia, thank you so much. Great story there. 5:19.